Over the years, I've seen many computers damaged or destroyed because of power-related issues. Even worse, I've seen many folks that have lost data, such as pictures, documents, videos, and so forth, because of power problems, and they didn't even have a backup to be able to recover their data. And they've lost years of information. So what falls into a power issue, and how can you minimize the risk of these issues? All right. So the three main areas I want to cover today are surges, brownouts, and blackouts. A surge is usually an excess amount of voltage coming through the line and can cause serious and, unfortunately, immediate damage to your system. A brownout is basically it's reduced voltage coming through the electrical system. Okay, so brownouts, you may have seen these where you turn on, the air conditioner comes on, you notice the lights start to dim, or the refrigerator comes on and the lights in the house dim. That's an example of a brownout. All right, the next one's going to be a blackout, and a blackout's basically just a complete loss of power. And blackouts are really kind of one of the things that causes a lot of issues, even if it doesn't damage your system, because blackouts, basically your computer just goes off. And when it goes off, if you haven't saved your document, or you don't have maybe autosave enabled on programs such as Microsoft Word or Excel, then you're going to lose that data. And so we've had people that have said, listen, I've been working for days on this document, never saved it, and they've lost everything. So blackouts can be a big problem as well. Blackouts also cause other problems where you get damage to the operating system. Okay, so the computer's up and running, all of a sudden you lost power, you've damaged files on the system. And in that case, sometimes a repair will work of the operating system. Sometimes it requires a full reload of the system, okay? All right, so how do you address these issues? And we're going to talk today a little bit about something called a UPS, okay? A UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. Inside the UPS, they have a battery, okay? So when you look at these units, they have batteries on the inside and an inverter. And the inverter will take that battery and convert that over to 110 volts of electricity, okay? And then when you have a power loss, it has that ability to kick in and keep the computer running for a short period of time. All right, so in addition to the inverter, there's also surge protection built into these. They have features such as MOVs, or metal oxide varistors. These can help with surges coming through, right? So you get a surge of electricity, and these varistors will actually help minimize that surge coming through that can damage your system. Some UPSs even have the ability to compensate for low power situations, like we just talked about those brownouts, and provide additional or supplemental power during the brownout or low voltage situation. That way you can kind of ride through those dips, and the UPS can supplement that power to minimize the chance that you have issues related to brownouts. And again, brownouts, one of the things that can happen there, that low voltage can actually stress the electronics in your device, whether it's a computer or, a lot of people use them on things like TV sets, any kind of, sensitive electronics. And so there's been times we've actually opened up computers and you look on the bottom, there's little parts in there from where they popped off the board from being stressed from heat from brownouts, okay? All right, so let's look at what makes up a UPS and how you're supposed to connect it or connect devices to it in order for it to work. And this is real important to understand this, okay? Because if you don't do this properly, you could end up in a situation where you overload a device and or it's not going to provide the level of protection that you are looking for. All right, before we get started going over the parts of the UPS, let's first start out by saying that you need to make sure that you size your UPS properly. We're going to give you a address down below here from APC. It's a site that you can go to that will have a Basically, it's got a calculator that you can use where you put in the different devices, and it will show you how to calculate what size UPS you need. All right, let's start out by looking at what makes up the UPS. All right, lots of different styles of UPSs out there, right? This is a smaller type UPS. It doesn't have a whole lot of features built into it. It does have the critical features that we were just talking about. The MOVs, metal oxide varistors. It has for the surge protection. It also has a battery in here that will convert into 110 volts of electricity, so you can get through those blackouts. And by the way, I just want you to understand that these don't run forever. So the battery will only run generally for about 5 minutes or so to give you enough time to shut down your computer properly, save your documents and so forth. Or we're going to talk a little bit about this little cable here that you can hook up so that in the event that you're not around, it can shut down the computer for you. All right, let's go over some real critical pieces here. I want to start out by talking about the on the back of this unit or side of this unit here. There's actually a little section, a little light here that when you connect it is called a site wiring fault indicator. That's really important to understand, okay? If you plug in your UPS and it does not have the proper ground, what's going to happen is that light's going to come on, indicating that you have a problem with your wiring, okay? There could be other problems as well, and if you see that, it's indicating that there's a problem and you probably will not get the protection that you think you're going to get because of the site wiring fault. So whatever UPS you end up going with, make sure that you understand that light on there, right? When you connect it, if your UPS, and pretty much all good UPSs today have one, if you see that light come on, stop right there, call an electrician, have them come in and look to see where the problem is. Very, very important. Also, you'll notice that this is a 3-prong plug here with the ground. Very important because these units need that ground in order to properly work. So make sure that that's set up properly, okay? All right. Over here we also have a USB port. Many of these devices have USB ports on them that you can use to connect to the computer using this cable that we talked about just a second ago. This is a USB cable, plugs into the unit, goes onto the computer. Some of these units have software that you use. Other units will work with the software built into the operating system. The goal there is that if you're not around and the power goes out or there's a power problem, maybe a storm in the middle of the night, this cable or this UPS will send a signal to your computer to let it know that there's no power and that it needs to shut down. That gives the computer a chance to shut down gracefully, minimizing damage to the operating system. And depending on the software, it can even save your work, maybe a Word file or Excel file or something that you're working on. So make sure that you connect that and configure that. In addition, when you do that, when this is all set up and working, unplug the UPS from the wall while the computer's running just to make sure that it actually works, okay? All right, let's go through some of the outlets on the front. When we look at the front of this, we are going to have 2 sets of outlets here. And most UPSs, and we'll look at the back of this one in just a moment, they will have what's called a surge and battery side, and then they have a surge only side. The surge and battery work with the battery on the inside of the UPS and the inverter. So that outlet actually provides power in the event that the electricity goes off in your home or your business. And you have to be careful here because this battery can only, and that inverter can only put out so much power. If you overload those outlets, the surge and battery, let's say you hook up a laser printer to it. The laser printer is going to draw way too much power and this unit is not going to be able to support that. And so the minute the electricity goes off, the UPS can't support that and it will shut the UPS down. It won't give it a chance to shut the computer down properly, save your work and so forth. So nothing is going to work at that point. So be careful. What I recommend is that you use just your computer and your monitor on the surge and battery side. All of the other devices that you are using, such as maybe your printer or scanner, your internet equipment that you have, maybe from your ISP, internet service provider, you can put all of that on the surge only side. The surge only side doesn't provide power protection, meaning that if the electricity goes out, those outlets will not be powered, but it does provide protection for surges, okay? Very important. And by the way, if you have a power strip at home and you're using your power strip, don't plug the power strip into one of these battery sides in order to try to get more outlets for the battery. It's not designed for that. So just use this device only for anything that you're plugging into it, and just the computer and monitor on the surge and battery side, okay? All right. There's also other types of connectors on the back of UPSs. So when we're looking at this bigger UPS over here, we have connectors over here for the cable TV. We also have other types of connectors that will provide connection for network protection. So that way, if you're coming, say, out of a ISP modem, and you want to, it goes from that into the UPS, and then from the UPS back to your to the computer. We also have an additional option for a ground here. We have a button here that's going to be for over voltage, and basically if you get a lot of voltage coming in for a sustained period, it's going to pop that fuse out and protect those devices from that over voltage. This is a little bit higher end UPS here, offering a little bit more set of features. Personally, I would recommend going with one of these more so than the littler ones, but just for general protection, the little ones will do just fine. Again, we do have the same style of connectors on the back, where we have surge only and other ones that are surge and battery. So a lot going on the back of these UPSs, and they need to be connected properly in order to be able to get the most use out of those. So I recommend that everybody get this and use this on their computers. You need surge protection. You need protection from brownouts. You need protection from blackouts. If you go with a higher end UPS, you can get that supplemental power option as well, meaning that if you get these brownouts, that it will supplement power to your device to minimize the chance that you're going to have problems related to brownouts. So think about all the things that you're looking for in a UPS from a power protection standpoint, and then purchase a UPS to fit that. Again, sensitive electronics such as your computer, your TV set, anything that you have, especially the more expensive items that's going to take a lot to replace those, you're going to want to make sure that you have one of these types of devices on your those sensitive electronics. Okay. All right. If you found this video to be helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications as new videos come out. All right. We hope you enjoyed the show today, and we'll see you next time on the Jamey Mellis Show.